Hello everyone, this is Feared Bliss. So it's been a while, but yeah, playing some Diablo 2 again. You know how it is. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video, I guess, to talk about like why I'm not playing D2R and stuff. I'm just a random guy. It's my current life philosophy and stuff like that. So obviously you're entitled to your opinion, and yeah, you know what I mean. Just wanted to kind of put this out there and just make this video. So you guys may know me as kind of the creator of Cactus, which is Diablo 2 version switcher, and Character Isolator. I made Bliss version switcher before, and then I also have a few mods like Singling, which is just a lightweight modification on top of vanilla D2, so there's no non-gameplay changes. So things like CPU fixes allowing you to play your hardcore characters, ladder rune words in like 1.08, not 1.10 though. That's a different story. Because it wasn't in the original 1.10 when Blizzard North existed. It was released after like second season of 1.10, which was in July, mid 2004. So pretty much October 28th, 2003. That's when 1.10 was released. Peter Hugh pretty much left. Everybody already left after that, like around August of 2003, August 2003, most of the Blizzard North leadership left Blizzard North. So basically changes after Peter Hugh are not really canon in my opinion, which includes Spirit and it includes Insight. So I know it's difficult, right? But it is what it is. But yeah, so D2R. I mean, a little bit of my background besides the kind of Cactus thing. Like I started playing 1.10, first ladder season of 1.10 back in 2003, and then I kept playing the game on and off. Probably came back in 2013, and that's kind of like when I was introduced into like time traveling. So after that, that's when like Bliss version switch and Cactus came. So all of this influences my current decisions. So for example, the thing with D2R, and like I waited for a remastered D2 for a long time. Obviously everybody already knows the whole, problems with, like current Blizzard and all that type of, California lawsuit and all that type of stuff. So I mean, in my opinion, like Blizzard has been going downhill for a long time, and I haven't been happy with the company. And this is sad because, Diablo 1, Diablo 2 are like critical for me basically, like changed like my whole life direction type of thing, right? I wouldn't even be doing all these like kind of hacking, modding type, or at least preserving and maintaining the history of Diablo 2 if it wasn't for D2, right? I think it even got me into reverse engineering and all the type of stuff, which isn't something that I did before. But yeah, going back, the thing, how do I articulate this? There's like so many thoughts. I feel like I've had this for years in my mind, but haven't really, made a video to like publish it, right? So one thing is that as I grew up, I kind of, like to kind of preserve and own my stuff, right? So obviously this kind of goes into the whole physical versus digital and all these types of debates. Like for me, like I have like my cartridges for like my Pokemon Blue and all these other things, but I actually have a ROM dumper as well, so I could extract the digital file from the ROM chip on the cartridge, and then I could just play digitally on like my Albernic like RG351P or something like that I have. These types of things. So I can still, benefit from the digital, but at least when I paid money for that particular product, I have the cartridge. I have the nostalgia for sure because I have the cartridge. But I can also control like the file. I can control like the ROM and all that type of stuff. So I own it. I paid the money. I own it, right? I don't need an internet connection for this. And I can play Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, as it was originally packaged and distributed, which basically it's, playing retro games, nostalgia, going back in time. But for me to be able to do that, and I don't have to ask any other company for permission for me to do that, it's very important for me. So, with Diablo 2, I mean, obviously this was a time when, if we take it back to like, 1996 and 2000, this was a time where a lot of people didn't have internet. Like I remember I didn't have internet. I finally got a computer from, like my dad got a cheap like computer from a flea market for $25. And I didn't even have internet. I was just playing around with like Windows 3.1 and like Windows 95 and like, oh, what's this? What's a .cab file? A cabinet file? Like, what is this? Like, what are the wallpapers, program manager, whatever, all these things that, so that's how, like, my life was back then. It was just, just a computer, no internet. I was just kind of exploring the operating system and just the layout at that point. So, if you look at the way the games were, they'll make the executable, they'll distribute it on like physical media, right, like CDs and stuff like that. But when you wanted to get updates, if you had an internet connection, then maybe you could just click, the Battle.net button, and it'll just download it for you, like just stream the data. Or you would need to kind of get the executable, like the standalone updater. And then that's what people will use, maybe, right? It's like, oh, maybe you could go to an internet cafe, maybe you could go to a library, download the EXE, put it on a floppy, I guess, or something like that. Maybe like a USB 1.0, like, flash drive or something like that, put it on there, and then come back home and try to run the executable locally, right? So that's how you do it. So the nice thing that allowed was it allowed me to preserve the whole game, the original game, right? I was able to say, okay, well, if I wanted to travel back in time, all I would need to do is get the original updater and kind of collect those and organize them, make them work technically and all the type of stuff. But we could actually play every single version of D2 in 2022, which is crazy. So, so if there's, if there's something you want to explore, maybe you're philosophically against some particular decision, like, 1.10, those changes that happened in 1.10. And I started at 1.10. But, if you were, like, philosophically, against it, the 2 screens away, the experience and stuff, I should be able to have the right to go to the cow level and just leave my characters in the portal and go and kill the whole map and get the XP, right? So you could decide to, go backwards. This is obviously something that you can't really do nowadays because people don't distribute standalone EXEs. All these, like, games are now, like, connected to the, to the internet or required in some way. Or basically required. So you can't really do that. I mean, it's a different world, but you have Grim Dawn, right? So, you have Torchlight. So, mod manager support included, offline, single player, optimized for single player. So it's not like, oh, it's a Monster Hunter world or some shit. And it's just like, okay, like, I got the CD, I don't need internet, but the whole game is basically freaking optimized and balanced and designed for multiplayer. So essentially, I have the data, I could log in, but it's not for me, right? Like, it's not balanced, or like, for me. So it's like not even an enjoyable experience. I guess it's almost like if you have like World of Warcraft, and you get it running locally on your computer, whatever that means, I'll let you guys figure that out. And then you're just running around Azeroth by yourself, basically. The game's obviously not designed for you, but you could do it, right? But yeah, so you have Grim Dawn, you have Torchlight, so you could still do this. People could still do the right thing, I guess, in 2022, but they decide that they want to, make the money and just have control and stuff like that. And, they think that they're preventing piracy. I mean, you could say that Diablo 3, always online DRM. I mean, I admit that it was effective, right? Like, I still don't see a private server for Diablo 3 in 2022. So there's the Nintendo Switch version, but in terms of the PC version, I still haven't seen someone get running, a private server for that. So it did work. It did stop people basically from pirating Diablo 3. Although, it's sad in terms of preservation, right? Because if Diablo 3 shuts down, it's going to be over for that game. Like, only the Nintendo Switch people are going to be able to play it. And then you might say, in 15, 20 years, I'm not going to be playing this. We'll never say never, but then look at me, though. I might just be crazy. But, yeah, started in 2003, and I'm still, it's 2022, and I'm still going, and I'm not planning on stopping. I've accepted, basically, I think, that I'm going to be playing this game for my whole life. But I just, take some breaks, I guess you can say, right? So, yeah, basically, it's just videos just kind of, like, just me kind of just expressing, like, all these thoughts that I had in my mind. So... Yeah, for D2, I was able to do that because I can just pay for the game. Here's $40 or whatever it is. I get the disc, or if you want to get the digital download, you get the digital download. and then I never need to talk to them again. Basically, that's it. Like I never need to talk to you again. Like I have full right. The game is designed for me, for the most part. Depending on the patch, right? Some patches are more optimized for a single player than others. So pre 1.09, like 1.09 and below, is much more single player friendly compared to 1.10. But there's still a lot of good stuff that happened in 1.10. But the point is though that I pay money for something, I get the product, and that's it. We're good. I don't need to talk to you again. It could be 10 years, it could be 15 years, and I can still open up that particular media. With the new games now, though, right? Let's say with D2R, and by the way, before I even go into this, do I think Vicarious Visions did a good job with it? I think they did a pretty good job. The graphics look amazing. Obviously you have the 2.5 to Terror Zones and coming out now, and 2.4 even made some changes and stuff. So I'm not necessarily interested. I mean, for me, D2R is just a mod of D2. I don't think it's Diablo 2. I think it's a Diablo 2 mod, which is perfectly fine. It's Blizzard's fork of Diablo 2. But yeah, that's why I don't really care too much about what. I basically gave up. I'm like, yeah, it's a D2. It's a D2 mod. It's not for me, so I'm not gonna buy it, and it's fine basically. But yeah, they remastered it well, and they're making all these changes now. But that's not what's stopping me, right? I mean, one is, I kind of want to play more of the original, but it's more of if I buy D2R, I need an internet connection, particularly to verify if I bought the game and stuff like that. You can still play it offline, but you need to check in, kind of like a Steam 30-day type of thing or whatever. So I'm basically already against that. I mean, some people might say it's an extreme, but for me, I'm just like, if I paid you for a product, I shouldn't need to talk to you anymore. So we're done basically. I don't want to. If they want to ban me, then okay. I mean, not that I'm doing anything that I would get banned for, but the point is, it's the principle, right? I don't want to get. If I get banned, then I lose the whole thing. That's why I don't even buy games on Steam anymore. If anything, I'll just do GOG, or I'll find the CD on eBay or something like that. But yeah, it's just it's I'm basically losing my money in a way if I buy it on Steam, because I'm thinking of the long term, and for me, I'm the type of guy that I'm not gonna be playing every single game that I buy all over again, but there are some games that I might wanna replay, and I should have the right to do that if I already paid for it. It just doesn't make sense for me to buy any more stuff on Steam either. Well, I haven't been buying on Steam. But yeah, so you have, the D2R stuff. If I buy it, I need a Battle.net account, which I already don't even do the Steam thing because of the whole DRM thing. And, some people, there's some games, it's Steam just provides the DRM, but the person doesn't need to activate the DRM, but they choose to. But the Steam, admitted basically, Steam, they kind of really not pioneered the DRM thing, but they definitely made it mainstream for game distribution. So I mean, I have to kind of blame them in a way. So I mean, if it's this thing, if you're buying games and assets, I guess you can say, that are connected to a particular digital account, a single identity, a single profile, I get it, right? You bought the game, you want to be able, they need to know that you bought the game in order for them to give you the thing. But I mean, GOG does the same thing, but you could just go to GOG.com. Yeah, you have your GOG account, but I could just go to the download section and download the EXE non-DRM onto my computer. So they're still backing up my EXE, which I paid for. They know that I bought it because it's linked to my account, the one that I used to buy the game. But I still have the EXE DRM free, right? So it could be done. So if they're gonna kind of lock me into a particular digital account, and then if I get banned, I lose all my things. It's okay, I don't even have the EXEs. If GOG banned me, I have the games backed up on my computer. So okay, it sucks, I lost my GOG account, but I didn't lose my whole collection. But for this thing, it's Steam bans me, or if Battle.net bans me, I lose access to everything basically. So if it not you got banned in D2 for map hacking. I mean at the Battle.net level, they could in theory, if anything, lock you out completely of your entire collection. So that's already a thing. So it's okay, I don't want that. D2R is obviously linked to the Battle.net thing, so I just can't do it just based off of that alone, even though there's multiple reasons I wouldn't want to do it. And then you have you got to check in. That's another issue. So you already have a bunch of issues just there. Now, in terms of the design of the game, I can never implement Cactus. Not that I want to for D2R. I just want to, as I said, I just want to take care of preserve the Blizzard North version of the game. So up to 1.10 on release, no ladder rune words, no like Insight Spirit that got introduced in like season 2 1.10, like original canon Peter Hugh and Blizzard North people Diablo 2. That's what I'm trying to preserve. I wouldn't be able to do that technically though for like D2R, because it's like you need the internet, they auto update you, and they don't let you. Basically, I think they don't let you play if you like don't update. They added that new message box like now, like, oh, you're out of date, like updated and stuff. It's like, okay, so I can't time travel now. You're literally blocking an old version of the game. So that's one thing, right? I think there's gonna be people. I might have even read this before. They're like, oh, I'm sad that like I can't play like on release like day one D2R. It's like now pre 2.4 or whatever. I want to be able to play the original one, like the one that's the closest to like 1.14D or something. Yeah, you won't be able to do that basically. Well, you can't do it anymore. I mean, maybe if you could, maybe for those particular versions you could, technically, because you could get the original files, and maybe if you could bypass the verification thing in the beginning, you might be able to get it to load the game to go to the main, kind of like the main menu. And then since they haven't had that like you're out of date message box there, maybe it'll still let you play. But you might have a problem from the initial launch, right? Because it needs to be like I don't know if you could run D2R independent. You can't run D2R independently from Battle.net, but maybe if you could do some tweaks or figure it out, like maybe you could kind of play the original like D2R like release date version of it. I'll leave that as an exercise for somebody else. But the point is, the cards are against you. They're not designing it like that. They already made changes to make it harder, and obviously they're auto updating and all that type of stuff. So you wouldn't be able to preserve the evolution of D2R as it gets patched. So yeah, I mean, these are just some of the reasons. It's not even getting into like particular changes that the devs have made for D2R. So that's not even getting into that part of the whole thing. But yeah, those are some of the reasons that I'm not playing like Diablo 2 Resurrected. But I mean, it's kind of sad. I was waiting for it for a long time. I've been a lover of Diablo 2 for a long time, and at this point, like I did a lot of work over the past like 6-7 years to like preserve the history of the game, and make it easy for everybody to access these old versions and play them and enjoy them in their own way, right? Like I'm not gonna say, oh, use this mod or don't use this mod. Like you do whatever you want. I'm basically giving you the vanilla version of the game. I'm preserving the vanilla version, and I prefer to play like that. But like you do what you want on your computer, Like as long, I'm happy that like you could even use Cactus to isolate your particular versions. I'm happy that you're able to, say I wanna get the 1.10 files from Cactus, and then put like Hell Unleashed or something like that on it, right? Like I'm happy that I can enable you guys to be able to do that, and I'm personally happy to preserve the game. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that everything went in that direction. Blizzard actually reached out to me, and actually there were a few other. I was talking to some other like people in the modding community as well. It seems like Blizzard reached out to a few of us back around 2016. Particularly to interview for the Diablo 2 Classic team, actually. So that would have been the exact team that I would have wanted to have been in if, like, I was working at Blizzard. I basically ended up, like, turning it down, though. Even though it was a dream job, like, I didn't really want to move from... I'm in New York. I didn't really want to move to California. Not because I don't love California. I actually really like it. But, just family and just wanted to be more in this area. But I had to turn it down. One, that I didn't really want to move. But two... I wouldn't have been able to, legally speaking, I think, continue developing and reverse engineering, like even reverse engineering just for the purposes of preserving the original files, right? I don't even think I would have been able to continue doing my Diablo 2 like kind of work if I'm working for Blizzard directly on the Diablo 2 Classic team, right? Like I would have had access to the original source code for D2, so that, you could minimum say it's a conflict of interest, but it's conflict of interest, but it's like it's aligned though, right? Because like I actually love D2 and I'm preserving it, and I'm also now working on the Diablo 2 Classic, Diablo 2 Original. I'm gonna call it Original, Diablo 2 Original for Blizzard on the Classic team, right? That would have been what I would have been doing, and maintaining it. But the thing is that there's the opposite side, right? Which is I'm trying to preserve the Blizzard North version of the game. It's already changed, obviously, because, Blizzard North doesn't exist. In 2003, that's basically when the leadership left. 2005, that's when Blizzard officially killed Blizzard North. But everybody left in 2003, so everything that happened after that period of time, like, it's basically regular Blizzard that's doing it. So like 1.11, 1.12, 13, 14, that's all like current like Blizzard basically. So it would have been basically maintaining like that 1.14. But let's say, okay, it's not the worst or whatever, fine. If the Blizzard North, if the business decides that they wanted me to kind of implement some particular changes to like D2, maybe changes that I'm actually fundamentally against, because Blizzard North, they probably wouldn't have done that, or maybe they wouldn't have done it in that way or something like that, right? So I'm trying to kind of like really pay like respects to the Blizzard North people. So I kind of want to do right by them, right? By the spirit of what Blizzard North was. So if Blizzard wanted me to implement those particular changes, I don't think I would have been able to do them, because it's like I'm basically against those changes. So that would have been the attention and all that type of stuff, and it's like there's just too many things here where it's like I don't want to change D2 in a way where I didn't want it to go. So I would rather just abstain and stay independent, stay outside, and just kind of maintain the original files on the side. So and that happened in 2016. It would have been a nice job on the team for the game that I love. But I was like, no, like I need to remain basically independent, and so that's what I did. So there's all these reasons basically, but I kind of just wanted to get this off my chest, I suppose. Hopefully this kind of, it's just my opinion, but if it does inspire you to, do D2 time traveling, or it inspires you to say, hey, like you're right about, I should be able to have like access to like my games, and I shouldn't have to have an internet connection to play these games, and these games should be designed for offline single player basically. If it's World of Warcraft, it's understandable, it's an MMO, it's made for that type of thing, right? But if it's like if it's a single player game, like it doesn't need to have an online DRM requirement, So anyways, guys, hopefully you found this interesting. Just a random guy here loves D2. But I wanted to put it out there. Take care, guys. Peace.